Here I am. Final prep before 6.0, contest announcements, and a shout out to Corbin on the way. These topics and more coming up on this episode of the Escape podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech this week is EPC 313. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
It's going good. I mean, I've been thinking all week about how to get ready for 6.0 and things that I want to do, and I've made long lists. And I might do 10% of that stuff, but we're going to talk about that more.
Right.
Like I always clean up my inventory on every list that I make, and it rarely ever happens. But this time, for sure, it's going to happen. For our last MFN of this era, the 5.x era, we went and did Terra from Beyond, which was super fun. I love that place. And it made me, that's when I decided I was definitely going to get Disney Plus, because then I'll go rewatch Tron.
Yeah, right. We talked about that. That is a great place.
Yeah. But other than that, let's see. You did this too, but we spent some time on the PTS and we did a push at the last minute, because that's sometimes we do things at the last minute to get the log mounts, which meant we had to go do 10 things on the PTS 10 group. So we went over there with a bunch of guildies and we ran through things 10 times, including PvP. I didn't do PvP, but PvP and flashpoints. So yay, log mounts for everyone.
Yeah.
And we're broadcasting a little earlier than our normal time, because tonight is normally our ops night, but we decided to do this instead because we just wanted to provide this service to the galaxy. We're so anxious.
Yeah, our group still all got together, and we had 7 people. Somebody was missing. Corley was going to be late, but we still could have done stuff, but everybody's sort of like in that 6.0 mindset, waiting with bated breath and like looking at their inventory. And we talked all about this kind of stuff, which we're going to talk about tonight. So
yeah. So how has your week been?
Good. I went back. I had to double check. Last week we did the podcast on Monday, I think. So now we're doing it on Thursday. I think Thursday is going to be our new night. Just to be clear, everybody keeps saying, they keep asking if I'm back. I'm thinking I'm back. That's a different quote. They keep asking if Thursday's the night. I'm thinking Thursday's the night. I think Thursday's our new night, because next week it's going to be Thursday again. Thursday just seems to be working out well. Not on Reddit. Reddit hates us on Thursdays. They like us on Tuesdays for whatever reason. But everywhere else, it works great. So
I mean, we do try to arrange our lives around Reddit.
Well, as one should.
Yeah.
If you want to be an angry person for the rest of your life. But I looked back, and when we broadcast last week, we hadn't yet got the announcement that the PTS was coming down. So although we kind of left it till the last minute, nobody expected the PTS to be coming down last Friday.
Right.
I expected it was going to go all the way to the end.
Last week we talked about, we were talking about spending some time on the PTS that weekend, get some people together, blah, blah, blah. And then Eric's like, it's coming down on Friday afternoon.
Right. So phase 3 only lasted, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks at the most?
It was about 5 minutes, I thought.
Yeah, I think it was 5 minutes. I think you're right. It was up for 5 minutes, and they said it's coming down tomorrow. That's pretty much what it was.
No one expects the Spanish PTS coming down. Nice.
Surprise. With one of their
our
weapons.
3 tools.
3 tools are, well, there's also Kaizai.
Our 4 tools. Okay. Michael Palin.
We all got our log mounts, though. Everybody that was able to, at least. We spent enough time doing a bunch of different things, a variety of things, as you said. We took some pictures at our log mounts, and we will have log mount races for the people that did end up getting our log mounts, because it's an ideally suited vehicle for a race. Because
it is.
Because of the variable speed and the randomness of it having that variable speed. You won't know who's going to win. So if you did like a couple laps around the fleet on the log, you could have somebody who's way ahead for the first half ending up way behind. I think that's going to be pretty hilarious. Make the course short. Yeah, I think, well, Yeah, we were going around a like a 15-meter diameter
Yeah,
circle, and it was a long time to make the laps there.
like
So
walking would be cheating.
yeah, yeah, you could not get off and walk exactly. That would be, yeah, you would win. But spectators could be walking along without problem. So there's that. So that was fun. Uh, Conquest did some Conquest. We did stuff on Tuesday for our mandatory fun night. We got a bunch of Conquest points. Although we'll talk about what we heard about Conquest for the week, which was going to maybe mess us up a little bit. And then I started looking
Yeah.
into my 6.0 prep and putting a bunch of notes together, which we've been collecting for weeks now. We'll dive into that in detail. But I started looking through my inventory and making some of my own plans more specifically, which I will wait until Monday night to put into place.
Right.
But
Right.
and I yeah, as you said, I will only do 10% of my plans, but did get a good look at it at least. So that's that. So why don't we talk a little bit about the other news we've heard?
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So back to front, the oldest news first. We did hear, as we said, about that end of phase 3. It did come relatively quickly. That showed up late in the week, and the PTS is gone. So if you're hearing this now and you're still hoping to uh, get that log mount, unfortunately, that deal is now done, and the PTS is gone. And also, Nar Shaddaa Nightlife is over. Just so you know.
Yes. Right.
What else we got?
No way. It's over.
Exactly. What else is in
Um,
the news?
Eric made a post about crafting. They have made some changes to crafting that didn't make it onto the PTS, so people didn't know about it. So he was just updating everyone, and it it's in response, I'm sure, to a lot of the feedback that costs were very high to do things,
Yes.
and that crew scale missions took a long time. So they are tweaking that stuff downwards. So they reduce the credit cost of the white crafting materials, which I guess were very high.
Very high.
Which even in this release in 5X,
They seemed high.
the higher end ones, I kind of cringe when I buy like 200 of them. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, because
I
you're paying
appreciate that.
about 300K for 200 of them. I agree.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not cheap, and it's
Um,
only going to get worse. And you're only going to have to use more. So, yeah.
but he also notes in this thing that it's like, even though the materials required is still high or still higher than maybe we want or than it is now, he says that we're going to be getting materials from so many more different sources too, and that that will get more materials. So not to it's like not apples to apples. So
True. And that's true to some degree. Not,
right,
maybe not to the as much of an extent as which is going to make it feel the same as, I don't think it's going to feel the same as grade 10. But you do get
yeah,
a lot. Like if you're doing gathering, you get a lot of stuff off of each node. You get multiple grade. You get like all 3 grades sometimes, not every time. But remember, there's 3 grades of grade 11 materials, and you'll get a stack of green and blue and purple all off of one node of one gather hit. So you are getting more stuff of more grades, and more stuff is showing up other places, and Jawa junk is dropping everywhere. Although that's been devalued, but you're gonna get tons of it. So it was nice to see these. We did have a podcast. We had Zen on, and we talked about crafting, and maybe got a little bit ranty. So this is obviously this is in a direct response to our podcast, talking about this.
obviously.
Uh, and I appreciate the consideration there, Bioware. So
Thank you.
it is not because of us, to be clear. Uh, Also in the news, we got 2 more of those posts, which takes a couple of the classes and tells a story about how their new set bonuses and their tacticals and their abilities work in 6.0. So they did operatives and scoundrels, and they did, which isn't too different. They did snipers and gunslingers. So operatives and scoundrels, again, you can look at it, and then you can sort of get that sense and read up on the little narrative. And I think this is the most interesting part of any of these, as we've said in the past as we've gone through these. When they did like the little story of, for medicine. So if you're a healer, an operative healer, as an accomplished practitioner of the medical arts, the medicine operative serves as the preservative backbone of any combat team. That's weird. Deploying a full complement of sophisticated gadgets to dispense healing, colto, and reparative nanotech clouds to one or more targets. Blah 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 blah. And then they tell you the story of what happens in combat, right? Shots are firing and lightsabers clash as we find our medicine operative in the midst of a heated PvP match. They keep going to PvP because a lot of the tactical, set bonuses and tacticals and abilities, some of them are definitely tuned to PvP. So, although maybe you aren't getting a new PvP map, PvPers have a lot coming to them in 6.0 because there's just going to be new meta, there's going to be new options, there's new abilities. Everything's going to get really shaken up to a great degree, and maybe it's going to be a mess for a little while. But that's kind of the fun of that kind of change of the meta for PvP. So they should appreciate that. But anyway, I appreciate this kind of write up and story and sort of telling you what you can think about when you start putting these things together. So we've got that. What else? Oh, I thought this was another good thing to just remind people, Seema, what I wrote up there next for you.
What?
What's next in the news?
Oh. Okay. So next in the news, which I thought you said, and then you said something else. And
I said
your voice trailed off. And
well, I said I was looking at this next news item, which is the cartel market. So go ahead and say it, and then I'll I'll say why I said what I just said.
Okay. Galactic Sale, all things good until Monday. So basically, the Grand Galactic Sale has been going on for several weeks now, and all 6 things are available to buy now until Monday.
Yes.
So right now, the latest one is 30% off armor sets and 50% off collection unlocks. Collection unlocks. I mean, I've taken pretty good advantage of previous collection unlock sales, but if you want to unlock anything during a sale is when you do it. So
right,
check it out, man.
This I even put in our list for the final things to do in preparation for 6.0. This goes all the way through Monday. All of everything from all of the weeks of all of the sales is all available all this weekend. All. Take advantage of it. It's a great opportunity. We'll call it out even a couple more times when we talk about prep for 6.0 because there's a couple things you can think about. But I do appreciate that this is going all the way through Monday, and it's a great shot to get a couple things in here. And again, as I said, we'll mention.
Although I would not leave it till Monday. If you have any.
Right. Don't do that.
If you have any flexibility, don't leave it for Monday
because. Procrastinator.
Especially don't leave it for late on Monday because, what if you're in the middle of it and they decide to take the game down? Because get ready.
What if you're trying to get a Gamorrean companion and then all of a sudden our Shaddai Nightlife's been over for 2 weeks? You'll not be happy about that.
What if all that?
What if? And the final thing I threw there in the news, which I don't know, it actually isn't a bad idea, is for the event schedule for October, the last event that's coming in October is also showing up on Tuesday, which is Rec Rules. So Rec Rules will be around. And now that I think about it, everything you do, especially killing bosses, like operation bosses, like the Eyeless, you're getting good stuff that you're going to want in 6.0. Everything that you do, every flashpoint, every operation, you're going to be getting gear.
Are we going to be able to kill the Eyeless?
Good question. Wow. Huh. That's been broken in previous expansions when they meant to make it like bolster or level sync to a particular level. If they lock it and level sync it to 70 like it's supposed to do, then
yes.
Then yes. However, we could have a problem. Now, if we get close enough to 306 by the end of the week, by the weekend, which is entirely possible by the end of the weekend, we could then do a late run against Eyeless and be getting,
Mm-hmm.
be getting some rewards there. And who knows? Maybe they put a tactical on Eyeless. Probably not, but there'll be different places we're going to be looking for, even after your full 306 gear, to be getting additional mods or pieces to min max, and to be looking for those tacticals and maybe set pieces once in a while from different places. And if not, just renown crates and tech fragments, which you'll be getting as well. So keep an eye out
That's
for the
right.
rec goals, and take advantage of that. In community news, for 6.0, our guild, AIE, Alea Iacta Est, is going to be doing a bunch of stuff. So Marcus has already called out what he wants to do some planning, I believe on Saturday. I don't remember if he said, I thought he was saying Friday, but I saw in his last notes he said Saturday. So either Friday or Saturday, what he's going to do is an operations crawl. So by then, we're hoping that everybody, well, as long as we're not doing Duxon, you just need to be 70 and above, we'll go in there and we'll get a bunch of the operations done. I think there's going to be another guild, some of the other people that we play with, some of the people that Marcus does ops with once in a while, that they're going to be doing some things sort of early in the day, and then Marcus is going to chain off of that and do the next, whatever's next that they haven't gotten to yet, sort of march through all the operations in order. So that'll be really fun. And again, that
Yeah.
great opportunity to get all the things that we want.
Right. I mean, of any type of activity, it's probably got the most potential for everything.
Right, right. All the things, including tacticals and set pieces. Uh,
So, yeah, I guess we kind of already talked about this, but that was a mega event when we went to the PTS. We had like instant mega. We were going to do mega on that weekend, and Marcus moved it forward to Thursday night so that we could, um, take advantage of the PTS while it was still up. And that's when we did our PTS shutdown party and log roll. It was a lot of fun.
so that's our October mega. I don't.
Yeah.
I know he's got something he started. He had a couple ideas for November. As soon as we sort of get that gelled and lock that in, we'll get the notes out there. There was something fun I know he had planned for November too. Speaking of Marcus, Mark USB, and Nick, Working Class Nerds podcast has a special podcast coming up in about next week, I guess on Thursday. The Working Class Nerds podcast is going to have a special guest, Holly Fields. Holly Fields, who voices, among other things, among hundreds of things, she's an actress and voice actor in general. She's the voice of Nadia Grell. And apparently, Marcus has already been lining things up with her and has told her this story about this guy he knows named Max, who keeps telling Nadia to shut up. So apparently he already said that to her explicitly, and she said, how dare he, and she promised to record something saying shut up Max. She does not need to do that. I wanted to make it clear and take this as an opportunity to say she's done some amazing voice work. I appreciate Holly as a voice actor. The character I have fun messing with, and I'm not going to stop that.
Thanks for trusting me.
Shut up, Nadia.
Shut up, Nadia.
So there you go. Contests. What about contests, Seema?
Yeah. Let's see. There's a couple of big ones coming up. What order do we have them in here? Okay, so Teresa is having a contest that's this week. It's over before the X-Pac comes. So check out her channel for more information. But she's celebrating that the first 2 expansions are becoming free for everyone. So this is a contest for subscribers and preferred, which probably anyone listening to us knows that you can, if you're not preferred, you can become preferred very easily.
Yeah.
You need
like
access
$5
to Yavin
anytime
4.
ever basically makes you preferred by anything ever.
Yes, exactly. And then she does have another contest, which is for free to play and preferred. So basically, the best thing to do is go find out on her YouTube channel. SWTOR.
Right. Yeah, look at her YouTube channel, look at her Twitter feed. There's 2 different little 2-minute videos she has which explains each of the 2 sub contests that she's got going on. and you'll get all set up there. And then, so that's SWTORista's contest that's going through Sunday. And then this is an announcement of an announcement. And it
Yeah.
goes a little bit like this. If you remember, I don't know if everybody remembers, but in previous expansions and previous times when new operations have come out in particular, there's somebody, a Sakic in our guild, but on Reddit, everyone is probably getting to know him better because he posts a lot on Reddit, as the name is Preferred Till New Ops on Reddit in the Star Wars community in general. He has sponsored a contest in the past where if you kill the boss or the end boss, or if you complete the new operation when it was released, and I think he did with working with Bad Feeling podcast in the past, it was a drawing for some large amount of credits. He's doing that again. It's gonna come up. We don't have all of the details specific yet, but we're narrowing in. It's gonna be a 1 billion credit Ops Boss Kill bounty contest once again, and it's gonna be a joint contest between Bad Feeling podcast and our podcast, SWTOR Escape podcast. It will be focused around the ducks in operation. There will be multiple chances to enter, potentially killing multiple bosses or screenshots of any of the boss kills. Will potentially get you entries into it and multiple entries into the contest, and then there'll be a drawing for 1 billion credits, at least 1 billion credits, and maybe more. So the complete details of that will come out next week as we, one, ensure that the operation actually works. Two, get a final view of what everything is looking like in production. Three, get some screenshots of what it looks like in production to put it out there and advertise it, and give everybody a chance to gear up a little bit, and then we'll launch it, and then we'll have it running for a couple weeks and get everybody in the drawing, and that 1 billion credits out there from Preferred Till New Ops on Reddit will be
That's a
coming
lot of
soon.
credits.
Keep an eye
That's
out.
more
That's going to
credits
be
than I
fun. We
have.
really appreciate it. Seema and I don't tend to run contests or giveaways very often, or at all really anymore. I really appreciate Sakic wanting to do this. This is really his thing, and we're happy to sort of be the vehicle to enable it and make it happen.
Right. And last but not least, shout out to Corbin from Mason, Ohio.
Yes, Corbin. Hello. Here you've been watching some stuff on YouTube. You like to watch Minecraft videos, and sometimes watch some Star Wars: The Old Republic. I guess today's is a little boring. It's just me standing in the watching the band here, but really appreciate it.
But we're always boring, so it's appropriate.
Yeah, really appreciate you watching and hanging out with us, and let us know what you want to see on our podcast in the future. We would love to hear about that. You are awesome. All right, Nadia, take us into the segment. Prepared you are not.
Thanks for trusting me.
Shut up, Nadia. Prepared you are not. Did everybody get that reference? It's sort of like a double reference. It's
It's a really good double reference.
You are not prepared. Prepared you are not. 6.0 is coming, and we are not prepared. I did both voices there, didn't I? I sort of
Yes,
just
you did.
explain the reference. Does that make it funnier when you explain the joke? I think it does. 6.0, almost here. I do feel not prepared, but have been thinking hard, as I know you have, Seema, about what to do to prepare. A couple other people that we wanted to give a shout out that were also helping think hard about what to do to prepare. Actually, a few other people, now that I mention it, now that I think about it. A bunch of people in Guild have been helping us out. In Guild chat tonight, we had a long discussion. Zen has been a big help, especially around the crafting kinds of things. We have some of his notes specifically. And then content creators out there. Zam has had a post up for a while talking about a few things that you need to prepare for 6.0. And SWTORista put out a good video that especially talked about the currencies, which we'll double down on in our discussion here tonight and explain our views on. We, in addition to that, put some of our tips for what we think people should do to prepare, and then we'll close out with just our perspective on 6.0 and how we're preparing in some ways just mentally for 6.0 to be here. So to kick it off, I'll kick it off with this one because we mentioned it already in the news. The cartel market. The cartel market is available. There are things that you could potentially be using off the cartel market, which would be useful for leveling up in 6.0. We will have Nautilons coming. So if you think about Nautilons, you might want to get a character slot. You might want to get some cosmetic gear to outfit your Nautilon. Maybe you're going to roll a Nautilon that's named Will Smith's baby, and you want it to look like something out
Yes.
of Men in Black. You can do that. Dyes, pets. I like to have a mount that matches my alts. My main characters always do random mount and ride tons of mounts. My alts typically have a mount that sort of like matches what my headcanon is for them. But there's a few other things out there that are always useful if you don't have them already, especially with the unlocks. I meant to check, is the Revan statue on sale? Let's look. Cartel Market. Because the number one decoration that I would say is the most useful in the Cartel Market is the Revan statue. Wouldn't you agree, Seema?
Oh, by far.
So Revan armor. That's the Revan statue. No, we need the Revanite, Darth armor, Revan zealot, commemorative Revan statue, statue of Revan. We want the toy. That's not. We don't want the deco. So maybe it's not. Maybe it's not here. Maybe you can't get it.
Nope, I don't see it.
Dang. Dang it all. So
Well, one way to prepare for 6.0 is not that then.
is Ogurub on here? Nope.
No.
Things.
No, he was not a cartel market.
Right. He was a reward, a pre-order reward for.
Yeah.
Rise
I think
of
there
the
are
Hutt
other
Cartel.
statues that do what he does, though.
If you ever have a chance to pick up a Revan statue, that's probably the most useful decoration in the game. Just being able to have to pop the Revan out and being able to repair and sell junk. That's why it's really useful. Otherwise,
It's not really a decoration, but yeah.
Or a toy. I guess it falls under the.
You
the
have
toy.
it in your bag.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an item.
The toy I think counts under the toys. The other useful companions to those are any of the, and there's many of them, the hollow statues, which are the trainers. Now there will only be one ability to train, and in fact 0 abilities potentially for you if you're. Are we gonna have to train it? Am I gonna like pay the trainer to get my or go to the trainer to get my second charge of Rocket Out? Probably. Gonna have a little party when I do that. So that's useful. Color crystals, though. I don't know for sure what the stat balance is going to look like as everything sort of settles out. Right now, most of my color crystals are centered around crit. You may want to make sure that you've got a couple cartel market color crystals on hand for power versus crit versus alacrity. The stat mix which you may end up with at the end of sort of the first tier of gearing at 6.0 might put you in a place where it might be more beneficial to have an alacrity crystal instead of a crit crystal. I don't think I have any alacrity crystals unlocked right now. So that's something to think about. I have endurance crystals for my tanks. I have Hawkeye crystals because that was a previous meta back in the day. And I have crit crystals. So, cartel market, take a look. Unlocks are also fun. Make use of it. Why don't you take the next one, Seema, because you have thought about this even more than I have, which is a good one.
So this is the one that will probably make the most difference to me in just everyday gameplay, and it's also the one that I'm less likely to actually do, which is I really, really, really need to clean out my inventory because, new zones, new places to go, things to conquer. You want to be able to pick up. I want to be able to pick up everything I want to instead of having to like look at my inventory and go, well, I have to delete something if I want to pick up this piece of grass. So I started to do that today, and I immediately got bogged down. But it's worth doing. I'm gonna try.
Right.
I'm also gonna look. I also wanted to give some thought to the whole legacy storage thing. Like we're getting the material storage, so it's going to free up a lot of space in legacy storage. But I probably won't mess around with that on day one because I will just relax on that one, let a couple days go by in case there are initial difficulties with it. I'm not saying there will be or even predicting it, but it could happen.
Zen is
And then
making a note here in the chat room just to back it up for just a second. Is there no such thing as an alacrity crystal? Maybe there's not. Maybe that's why I don't have any alacrity crystals. Because there is no such thing. There's, yeah, I don't know. Eviscerating Hawkeye. Hawkeye is power. Eviscerating is crit. Indestructible is endurance. I don't see alacrity crystals. I has the dumb, so don't listen to me. So, sorry to interrupt.
power.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. But yeah, like I have items in my bank that are there because I couldn't delete them before. Like I have Skadge's boots and like I have that screenshot thing we got in the from the digital collector's edition that I never use. They just sit in my bank. So I don't know. We'll see. But we're gonna need space because there's just loot is dropping like rain in
Yes.
6.0.
So if you remember any of our videos with showing what was going on the PTS, after running an operation, I probably had 30 or 20 gear pieces in my bag. You don't want your inventory all filled up with junk and try to get into an operation and have to be stopping every 3 steps after every fight because your inventory is all full. Reverse engineer is a really useful tool. You will be reverse engineering, deconstructing a whole bunch of stuff, and it's relatively quick. The deconstruct window allows you to deconstruct 9 things at a time or 12 things at a time, nine bunch of things at a time. You just click, and then you can deconstruct them all at once, and you'll get tech fragments out of it, which you really need. However, it's gonna be a hassle if you don't clear out your inventory. I'm gonna go so far as to ensure that I clear out things like, and we'll talk about other reasons to clear out your command crates and these unassembled pieces, but I'm gonna even take most of my toys and get rid of them for now, and take my Warzone stims and adrenals and put them in legacy storage. We will get the opportunity to put a bunch of things into our new materials inventory. If you have any grades of any materials, including crew mission materials or any of the gathering profession materials, you'll be able to put those very quickly into the new material storage, which will be useful. These assembly components, those will also go into material storage. I have assembly components on a few of my crafters. Yeah, I often end up with an odd amount where I needed to make a bunch for a war supply, and I ended up with 3 of them that were too much. You never, because somebody crit, and you'd never end up with an exact amount. Or I was making some ahead of time, so being able to put those into the material storage as well is really handy. Otherwise, a bunch of this, I'm gonna try to clear out like 80%. I'm gonna make my bags as empty as they've ever been to make it easier on myself. Next up, and this is, we can break this down and split this up because there's a lot in here. So this is going to be the biggest part of everything we would recommend people pay attention to in 6.0 prep, which is currency. There's various currencies which are going away or getting converted to credits. Anything that's getting converted to credits as we go through this is going to be a paltry amount of credits. It's going to be in my view, equivalent to 0 credits. So I would not think you're going to get a whole bunch of credits if you do not turn in your unassembled components, for example. So unassembled components, that's the first thing. Unassembled components is what you're getting when you have things in your command stash and you say, I want to deconstruct, I want to disintegrate things in my command stash. Then you get a bunch of those unassembled components that show up. I have 8,000 right now. I should have been starting weeks ago to do some things that would have been optimal with those unassembled components, but you still have a chance in the next couple days. If you have the rep, one thing you can do is turn in those unassembled components on Osis and get one unassembled or one masterwork crystal for 500 unassembled components. And then those masterwork crystals, we'll talk about that in a second, you need to liquidate those as well. You can get one masterwork crystal per character for 500 unassembled components, and that's per character that you can get to Osis, and you can get all of those characters to Osis just by going and flying there. You can also get, and I think you can access that guy whether or not the character has done any of Osis, because he's just the smuggler dude.
You can access him, but he won't have the quest for you to turn in the unassembled components until you're level 70.
Until you level, okay, so only your level 70
But
characters.
you don't have to have done any of the Osa story.
Great. If you want a second crystal, you can buy 2 crystals from him per week. The second crystal is 1,500 components. Or is it 1,000? Everybody.
It's 1,000. It's 1,000.
I thought it was 1,500. Anyway, it's
so
double
if you're
the
like
cost.
Max and you have 8,000,
yeah,
you might end up spending.
I might.
Or if you really, really want one of the decos that costs 2 masterwork crystals and you don't have 2 crystals, or then yeah.
The other thing you can do with unassembled components is if you like any of the tier 1, tier 2, the 230, 236 gear, you can buy 230 and 236 gear straight out with unassembled components. I think 230 gear you can buy with credits. 236 gear you can buy with unassembled components.
It's command tokens.
Command tokens for 230 gear?
Yeah.
And then unassembled components for 236. Cheap.
And then the tier 2 is a combo of the two. But they're all
tier 1 and tier 2 are the same design, slightly different colored. But if you like that armor set, that would be the only reason to do it. If you like that armor set, unless you don't have 236 gear, then definitely do it. Sidebar on that. When you're questing at level 75 and doing anything and getting gear drops, the gear drops you get, the item level of those gear drops are tied to your item level in game. I believe it's a minimum though. I think it's 268 minimum at level 75. So maybe you don't need any gear whatsoever. But you'll want to equip everything up to your highest eye level as much as you can. I don't think we ever confirmed that. I'm going to be wearing 258 gear. I'm going to get my highest eye level, and I'm going to be wearing it. I'm going to be sporting that 258 as much as I can, in case it would be dropping me down and giving me, if I was wearing 230, I don't think it's not going to give you 230 gear. I think it's 260, right. 265, 268 is the lowest level.
Is the minimum, yeah.
Regardless, if you like the design, then get them. If you want tier 3 and 2-4, you have to turn in the shell to get the tier and then pay more unassembled components with the tier 3 piece and maybe even some command tokens. It's costly, but you could then be getting gear pieces that way and use up unassembled components that way too. Mostly the only reason you would do it is if you like the gear look and you want to collect those pieces.
Right. And there is, back on the decos, there is one deco that costs just 1 crystal. And it costs 1 masterwork crystal and 250 unassembled components. But it's as opposed to 2 masterwork crystals, which if you haven't bought any, then you'll have a hard time getting 2 on 1 character.
I'm going to run there real quick while we're talking, but talk about the masterwork crystals in general too, masterwork and monumental, because that's the next thing that needs to be liquidated as well.
Yeah, those are going away, so you might as well spend them. There's 2 things you can buy with them. It's the 252 or the 258 gear, which again, at this point in the game, you can take or leave the armor. Like Max said, maybe you'll have some advantage to gearing up to 252 or 258. But it's not going to be a long-term advantage. Or you can buy these decos that he's going to go look at. And they run, like I said, there's one of them that costs 1 crystal. And then there's a number of them that cost 2 and a couple that cost 3. And then there's at least one where you have to have a monumental crystal.
Yes, at least one.
Pile of bones.
I think there's multiple, but the pile of bones, which is a boring deco. But so I guess it's prestige because it costs monumental crystals to buy it. I
And these decos are not going away. You'll still be able to get them.
right.
They'll just be a lot more expensive. That's the word on the street.
So there's a whole set of decos that you can pay with relics of Osis. See, I'm capped on relics of
Yes.
Osis.
Yes.
I haven't heard that relics of Osis are going away. So just the only thing they confirmed was was the masterwork and monumental crystals were going away. I'm not, although I'm capped on relics of Osis, and that's kind of dumb because I'm wasting them. So I'm not going to worry about that myself. This is not the crystal vendors though. Where's the crystal vendor? I am gonna spend my crystals, my masterwork crystals. I don't have any monumental crystals. I'm gonna spend my masterwork crystals on decos, and the one deco I liked in particular is. Are they over here? Yeah, there's. It's
Yeah,
on the other
they're
side.
by the Masterwork Crystal Gear guy. They're in the same room with him. Yeah, in that room.
Down here. I like a couple of those decos. That's what I'm gonna spend my crystals on. The only other thing I'm kind of thinking about is when I got all of my 252 and 258 gear, I got most of it. I got it on multiple characters, and then I moved the mods into legacy gear. So I don't have a complete set of all the pieces. I'm going to double check at what the, like here, I'll show you. The masterwork set looks like for my mercenary. So if I really like the masterwork set, I might buy the pieces that I don't have just for the cosmetic look. See, it's got the cape, which no capes,
No cape.
no capes, but it is kind of cool. Look at that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool.
I don't like the cape though. So I don't know. I'm debating on filling in a couple pieces. I like that chest piece. I really like that chest piece. If it didn't have a cape, this is pretty cool. If it didn't, so
And the other thing is, it's a pretty nice black color. So
yeah,
if you buy just the chest piece and then unify colors, you can make a black outfit without having to go to the expense of black dye.
right. It's like a real dark color. Here's the deco guy. The other thing I like off the deco guy, which I certainly want to get, is the glowing mushrooms and the Genosian eggs.
Yeah,
Biomass. Why do I not have? What am I missing?
the
Oh,
eggs
unassembled
rise out of the
components.
floor.
So this takes the mushrooms take one masterwork data crystal and 250 unassembled components.
Right.
Somebody put that in a tip somewhere. Maybe Zen put that, or no, SWTOR might have mentioned that in her video. Double check what you want to buy before you liquidate all your unassembled components. The large stone torch costs 2 masterwork data crystals and 500 unassembled components. And the large stone torch, that's
Yeah, I
kind of
mean,
cool.
there is that, but I mean, we're not going to stop getting unassembled components throughout the next few days. So if you screw up and you find out you're 500 short, you could just go do a few things, get a few crates.
True. And here's monumental. Memorial of the Three requires a monumental and 2 masterwork crystals. And then where's Pile of Bones? So there's 3 that require a monumental crystal. Pile of Bones is 1 monumental and 2 masterwork. Look at that. Look at that epic pile of bones for 1 monumental and 2 masterwork crystals for this random pile of bones. they had they had to be like laughing at themselves when they put that up there. A couple of these
They
others,
should have made it a pile of dirt.
yeah, it should have just been like, yeah, like a speck of dirt.
A speck of dirt.
So check it out. The next thing that's getting liquidated is command tokens. So in your currency here, command tokens you get every time you open a crate. You just get more and more command tokens. Command tokens is something you want to buy. That's what you can buy with that tier 1 armor. Just straight up, you can buy the 230 gear with command tokens. The more important thing that a lot of people are using their command tokens for, and we can go back to the fleet to show this off, is command boosts. So CXP boost, command boosts are the boost item you get When you click on it, it says extra 25% CXP for the next 2 hours. Those boosts will all end up being converted to renown boosts. So the command ranks are going away. Command rank is getting set to 0 starting Tuesday, and renown ranks start. Renown ranks are less important than command ranks because you're getting gear so many other ways, but they're still useful. And what you'll want then is to have these extra tokens and these extra boosts to get your renown ranks and your renown boxes a little bit faster. There's no tiers to renown. You don't have to, and by tiers I mean crying because you're not getting what you want out of the boxes, but I also mean tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. There's no tiers, but you still will want to get the boxes because there's a chance of getting cool stuff out of them, like higher levels of gear and like tactical items and like set bonuses, set pieces, and stuff like that. So this droid, there's a droid on the fleet in the supplies section in the second bay over from the end. You click on that droid and you can give this droid 190 command tokens and 50,000 credits, and he will give you a superior command boost. I'm going to get stacks of these because I got a lot of command tokens in currency. So I see here in my inventory, in my currency tab, I have 736. That's not really all I have because I leave all my command tokens in my command stash. I have 3,738 on this character alone in my command stash.
I would not leave them in your stash.
No, I should not leave them in my stash. I'm going to liquidate them all regardless, but they're capped in the stash. So if I can't even take them all out of my stash because the cap in the stash is 3,000. That's why I leave them all in command stash right now.
No, I mean, but you have boosts in there too.
I also have boosts in my stash.
That's what I was thinking of, was the boosts. I wouldn't leave them in there. I mean, I know they're going to be converted, but who knows if they're going to convert inside your stash.
Okay, so before we get to you telling us about Alliance Recon data, tell us about your tips about where to leave things and where not to leave things, including this. This is a good one too. Yeah, it's a good point.
Okay, so my free-floating anxiety one, which I don't know if I should share this, but I was thinking I would take all my credits out of Legacy.
You're never going to sleep because you're going to have everyone who's listening to this podcast who's going to take all their credits out of Legacy Storage and then accidentally buy something for 100 million credits off the GTN.
Right. So like if you do that and you're carrying all your credits on one character, just stay away from the GTN. Don't accidentally buy something for 100 million credits that you thought you were 100 million credits that you thought you were spending 10,000 credits on.
Right.
But yeah, so part of my mind just said, I don't think it's not going to work. I think the legacy mat storage and legacy bank are all going to be fine on day one. I'm not afraid of losing the credits because I know they would be replaced if there was a snafu. I just don't want the inconvenience of having to wait for a couple of days while they fix it if something happens. And they have had issues before where some people, everything disappeared from their legacy storage.
Right.
So I was just thinking of that.
So we have members in the guild that have over 1 billion credits. Oh, look, I have over 1 billion credits in my legacy storage. Huh, fancy that. Anyway, Seema told.
But then I was also thinking just in general on day one to be very philosophical, to just roll with whatever happens. Like even if it turns out that the servers go down and they never come back, or they come up, but they're only up for a few minutes because they discover something that they have to take them back down for. I mean, don't take the day off from work to play SWTOR on that day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's back down in your mindset and your philosophy sections.
Yeah.
And we've got more there. So yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But you're right.
Okay. But yeah, so everything about the legacy storage, I'm just staying away from until the smoke settles.
It settles down because you're right. We've had in the past legacy storage being inaccessible or the guild ship disappearing out of the sky multiple times for our guild.
In the chat room says, take the credits out and put them under your mattress. That's excellent. do that.
I would recommend, we even talked about where to log off.
Yeah.
Don't log off on your guild ship. We've had updates before and patches where people have logged off on the guild ship and then your character, you can't log into your character. So we're all going to log off on the fleet. We're figuring that's the
But
safest place.
I even think something like someplace like Balmora or Voss
Or like
would be pretty good too.
Korriban.
Zan, I'm going to quit my job on Monday.
We should all go to like the starter planet, Korriban, some place really tame and old school. But couple
Yeah,
more
someplace
things.
old school.
Yeah, couple more things though in currency. Alliance recon data. I don't know why they're getting rid of this, but they called it out specifically. So if you're not familiar with Alliance recon data, at the end of so in the Traitor storyline after Knights of the Eternal Throne, you could do the flashpoint. What's it even called? What's the flash?
After you do the storyline on not Osis, not Onderon, the other O place.
Help us out, chat room. The one with the train. Umbara. Crisis on Umbara.
Yeah, I mean that's the one with the train, but you have to do the story on the Dyson Sphere place.
Iocath. You have to finish Iocath to get you
not an O place, it's an I thing. Iocath, yeah.
Get you far enough through there, and then you can go to do the Crisis on Umbara, which is the train. And as you do Umbara, what you get? Why am I guess I'm in the wrong place. I think I went up too far.
There's an elevator on Odessan.
Yeah,
over by the Star Fortress.
To the staging room. I'm in operations. You need to go to the staging room. So there's an elevator on Odessan. Yeah. You start to get, yeah, here we go. This is where the entrance to Crisis on Umbara is. And this is also, when you get enough rep, you can go to this elevator and you can go up. There's a vendor up here and there's another vendor down here. And this is where you spend the Alliance Recon data. That Alliance Recon data is a currency that can buy here these schematics. And it can buy up, if you get enough rep, you unlock this elevator, you go up, you can buy the Umbara Stronghold and a couple other things. What else does this vendor have on it? Let me see what we got up
Well,
here.
I mean, the Umbara Stronghold is the main thing that I did, but also the Biochem
is that
schematics
decos?
that
I guess it's just the Stronghold.
Yeah, the ones that aren't consumed upon use.
Right.
The schematics for those. So that's with this data. This stuff, by the way, is not going away. It's going to be available for credits. So it's not like you'll miss your chance to get this stuff. You'll just miss your chance to spend the Alliance Recon data if you have it.
So here it's like this. Here's a cool mount which Seema just bought. Which when I go back to the fleet, I'll show you. It was 2 million credits and 15 Alliance Recon data. What we expect.
And I had 16. So it was the perfect purchase.
There you go. And how many do I have? I have.
And that's leftover from getting the
30. Well, there we go. I could buy
Stronghold, 2 because I did that at the time too.
I could buy 2. I have 30.
You could buy 2. You can.
Oh,
there's gear too,
thanks,
but that has the chest piece. It's the kind of chest piece that has like a shelf.
Oh.
On your front, and I don't really like that look.
Sticks out real far.
Yeah.
So I'll probably get that mount because it did look really cool as you showed.
And since I had put all my credits from my legacy bank in there, it seemed like not very much. 2 million credits. Normally I would balk at that, but I'm like, I have dos camas.
Tres Comas Club. But as you saw, it cost 15 Alliance Recon data and 2 million credits. You will get credits for your remaining Alliance Recon data, but you're going to get like the equivalent of 15 credits.
Yeah.
And that price for that mount is probably going to go up to 4 million credits.
Right.
Or 10 million credits.
It's not going to be an even exchange.
So if you want it and you have the recon data, buy it now. That's my recommendation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. The only other kind of currency that's in there, so we already said the CXP boost become renown boost. That's where we're buying them on the fleet. The only other currency that's out there that's interesting, which is sort of like a token currency, which will still be useful, but you could potentially still use now, and Zen had some good tips on this, is the Jawa, what we call Jawa junk. So it's the scrap. It's the Jawa scrap. I'll go back to my legacy storage here and show you what it is. But it's the 3 grades of scrap items that you get that you can turn into the Jawas on the fleet in the cartel bazaar, or if you have the Jawas as the deco in your stronghold, they work as the vendor for the same thing. What you'll find there, I didn't drop, the stream didn't drop, did it? No, we're still live.
I see a loading screen.
Yeah, no, it at least didn't crash Twitch. Comcast, thank you. That Jawa scrap, those currencies will still exist. They will be devalued to some degree. So if there's anything you want to spend them on now, and this is where Zen had a good tip for us, is if you spend those now in the cartel bazaar to buy companion gifts,
Gifts.
you will get more value for your scrap to buy them now than you will after 6.0 launches. The prices for good stuff on those vendors is going up in terms of Jawa scrap once 6.0 hits. However, once 6.0 hits, you'll also be getting tons and tons of these 3 currencies: scavenge scrap, asserted droid parts, and Jawa junk. You're going to get tons of it. So there will be things that will cost like ridiculous, what seem like ridiculous amounts of Jawa junk. However, you'll be getting tons of it, so it devalues you banking like what I've done here, where I have 3,679 purple Jawa junk tokens. It devalues, deflates the value of those because it inflates all the prices, but anything new that you're going to get tons of them. Everybody else will have 3,000 after a week. So me spending the last year collecting 3,600 was a waste. Is basically in the 6.0 timeframe.
Right. Yes.
Still, it's a currency that will still have value. It won't get converted basically to nothing. You can go after it and make use of it. All right.
So some people are saying, keep your Jawa junk, but you have options.
Right. All right, we have been going long. We've been talking.
I knew this was going to be a lot of stuff
long.
to go through.
So let's go through.
CXP packs are going away. They'll be
quick
converted to a
couple
small
things.
amount of credits.
Good one.
You can use them instead, like use them now, so you'll get more command crates, and you open the command crates, get more unassembled components, more rep items, more gear that you can either get unassembled components for or vendor, and more gifts. So that's why you use up CXP packs, because the amount of credits you're going to get will not compare to the value of all that stuff.
And I just used one, and I got another command crate, so I can open that and see what I got. And I got
so many command
another
crates.
CXP consumable. And then I'll disintegrate those 2 things and get some unassembled components and blah blah blah. Yeah, that whole chain. You'll want to use all of these up because they'll again be converted into a paltry amount of credits. And then command crates, we said clear those out. I'm gonna clear out all my command crates. Most importantly, to free up inventory space, but also to get all of the stuff out of it, to get unassembled components out of it because those won't show up anymore. To get your command tokens out of them because those won't come out of them anymore. You'll still be able to open them in 6.0, but you're just gonna get like the companion gifts, the stupid gear pieces that you don't want anymore out of them, and not any of that other currency. Crafting materials. This is a little more important. Why don't you talk a little bit about this, Seema?
Well, so the main message I got out of this is that some of the war supplies, namely crystal capacitors and armored vehicles, will require grade 11 mats. Like right now, they require grade 3, grade 5, grade 7, and then 8 and 9, and now they're going to be like some other combination of odd numbers like 5, 7, 9, 11, or something like that. So if you want to make a bunch, if you want to use up all your grade mats that you have now on crystal capacitors and armor vehicles, you can make them with cheaper mats now. It'll be more expensive mats afterwards.
Right. That was a Zen special. He talked about
Yeah.
it a little bit when we talked about crafting. I did last week because it was a war supply crafting week. I focused on armor vehicles in particular because that's what I was lowest on. But those armor vehicles and crystal capacitors in particular, they will be the ones that you will have to use grade 11 mats to make. The grade 11 mats, when you're using grade 11 mats, you're going to have to also use a ridiculous amount of grade 11 mats. So make extra now, bank them.
Well, I mean, they reduce that maybe too.
They reduce that, and you get you get ridiculous amounts of them. So there's all of that as well. But it still
Okay.
felt like a lot, and I don't know how much they're going to reduce it. But banking some so you're ready to just make your invasion forces if you need isn't that bad. I didn't make that many. I only made like 40. So now I have a stack of 40 in my legacy storage, and I only have 24 crystal capacitors. I may make a couple more
I
of
mean,
those
I
this
don't know
weekend.
why, but I made a goal of making 100.
That's good. I
I
bet
mean,
Sakic
I'm
has
I'm
a stack
no.
of
I was gonna say I'm no psychic. He probably
9,999.
does. He probably does.
But
Yeah.
why do I have 322 invasion forces sitting around? Here's my other problem is, and this is also in the crafting materials, I have 83 charged matter transubstantiators, and the the other counterpart to that is the encrypted memory cores. Those are the materials you use to make the current 230, 236 grades of 236 and 242, 236 and 240 grades of augments. The current grades of augments, augment 46 and augment 48. Zen and I had a debate about this today. When we were on Odessin on the PTS, you could go to the vendor, the magic vendor they had, to get the test gear, and you could get new augments. And I believe they were grade 11 augments. However, when I was testing crafting, I did not find any augment schematics. We were also confused because we did not see schematics for MK11 augment kits for our gear. So we don't know if at the launch of 6.0, if those schematics are somewhere and we need to find them, or grade higher than augment 48s don't exist yet. We're not exactly sure. What may be the case is when we get to 6.0, those 236 augments still may be interesting and useful. And in that case, my big stack here of 83 charge matter transubstantiators is still going to be useful potentially, because that's the material you use to craft those. However, I don't know. And then I don't know where I'm going to get more of where we're going to get more of these if you still want to or need to craft those, because those currently come out of the CXP packs and they come out as a conquest reward. So if we're not getting those as conquest rewards anymore, because now we're getting the new stuff, the new grade 11 stuff, can we never craft any more 236 augments ever again? So we've got questions, and we're not going to get those questions answered before Tuesday, unfortunately. So you can make a bet one way or another whether you want to just use all of those up now or you want to bank some and save some. That's going to be a toss-up. All right. So we're closing in on our wrap up here. I liked this. I liked some of these just general tips. Why don't you go through some of what you were talking about, and just sort of your mindset.
One of the goals I have too
running.
is to clean out my quest log. Like any quest that I have partially completed, like I have a couple of planets where I've got 3 of 4 heroics done for the weekly, and I won't abandon the weekly.
Right.
No matter how much I need a slot. So just go to Alderaan and do a heroic. Get rid of that.
Or not. And we'll talk about that in a second too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you could do them and then not receive them so that you could, not turn them in so that you can do that on Tuesday. Also, go through all my characters and locate all the XP boosts that are not soulbound and put them all in one place.
Yeah.
And that goes for CXP boosts, although I'm going to have so many CXP boosts by the time we finish with command crates. I mean, with command tokens. Well, command crates and command tokens. They'll be like everywhere. Locate my XP armor from the Dark versus Light event. I don't know if it's going to work for this, but it will certainly work when I create a new Nautilon.
Yes.
I mean, my expectation that it'll work. Also, somebody in the forums, I thought this was a really good idea, said he was going to write down his disciplines in case they're reset, which they probably will be. When you come back, instead of having to refigure it out, just have that to refer to. So I'll take a screenshot of my combat proficiencies so that I can easily put them back together.
That's a good tip. Yeah, that's a great tip.
Also, get your favorite companion. If you haven't done this already, get your favorite companion, the one that you like to run missions with, or go out in the world with, to influence 50.
Right.
Because if we're losing set bonuses, or for whatever reason we're out in the world and it's tuned wonky and we're not quite as powerful, it'll be helpful to have that influence 50 companion at your side. Yeah, talents will be reset.
Right. So Starry Saber in the chat room mentioned the expectation that any unfinished quests before Tuesday will all reset. Did they confirm?
That is a great point, yeah. They've done it before.
That? Yeah, I know they've done it before, and they've also not done it in other instances.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, utilities are changing. It'll be 3 tiers instead of 4, but I still think it'll be useful to have the ones to know what I had before.
Right, the names.
They'll be in different locations. Yeah.
So they're all gonna reset.
Well,
like here, I'm 5 of 10 on IOCATH dailies. That's gonna reset to 0 of 10. That's
Sir Galahar. I'm excited about Tuesday. It's Reckle week.
There you go. That's what I said.
Nothing else going on Tuesday.
Veteran flashpoints 3 of 5. I don't know what I should do with these. OSIS dailies 8 of 10. Boy, I got a whole bunch of stuff going.
The vehicle request has reset in the past. That happened to me one time. So
the Rakul Eyeless kill returned to mission Dropbox.
I have that in my quest log too.
So I'll be turning
I forgot
that
to turn it in last
apparently
time.
next week unless they reset it. Heart of Ruin half done, which is
I have that half done too.
2 of 5 Rakatan artifacts on Dantooine. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these. 6 of 7, 5 of 6 objectives complete on OSIS Weekly. I don't know. If they all reset, I'll be sad. I don't think I'm going to get through doing all of these. I will probably clear some of this stuff out because I've got a bunch of placeholders. I'll at least have enough space to be picking up all of the quests I need to pick up to advance the story on Osen.
Yeah.
Are you going to roll in Nautilon? Are you thinking of rolling a Nautilon?
I don't know. I have it as a backup plan right now because part of my thing about being philosophical on Tuesday is if something's not right about the new content or it's not playable for whatever reason, then that's a good plan B to just go create a Nautilon and go back to Tython, Korriban, look for babbies on Ord Mantell.
Right. I may end up. Maybe I'll do that.
To that end, if you are thinking of you're going to make a Nautilon, I mean, I'd be thinking about boosts. Make sure you got. I mean, you'll send the money for the legacy stuff legacy perks that you normally like to level with. Think about what professions. I mean, all that stuff to me is like part of the fun of creating a new character. So you can do that whether the game is up or down.
Right.
Think about it.
Right. Plan that out. Plan your plan of attack.
And that also, that thing about looking for the XP gear. I gotta find that XP gear. I
Mine's
forget who has it now.
mine's right here. I'm looking right at it in legacy storage. I'm gonna put all of my 258 mods in the XP gear. Hope that it works, and if it doesn't, no loss, because it's still gonna be modded 258 gear, so that's fine. It won't hurt
I mean,
anything
Starry
to do that.
Saber just brought up a good point, which is they haven't actually mentioned the mission quests will be reset.
Okay.
And last time they did warn us that they were going to be reset.
Right.
So I don't know.
It's a good point. It's something to just be aware that there's the risk that that may happen,
Yeah.
and be prepared
Yeah, it's
either way. And then the final thing that I'm going to do is, as I mentioned, my plan still for 6.0 is to go innovative ordnance for 6.0, because in most of 4.0 and the start of 5.0, I was innovative ordnance. Then I switched back to arsenal. I like being arsenal when I am just like leveling, but because I don't get a new ability and I just get to second charge of rocket out, and innovative ordnance is good and probably even slightly better in a lot of cases than arsenal, I may switch to innovative ordnance just so even my rotation and the feel of my mercenary feels new. So got that going for us too. A lot of stuff here as we went through. As we said, I may put a summary like top 5 things note together. I'm kind of trying to think about doing that and then posting it out on Twitter. Regardless, bunch of stuff that we went through. I don't think I'm going to get through all of it in my preparation over the weekend. There's still plenty that
I know I won't.
you can and you should do some of it if you want to optimize, and plenty to at least play with and think about and get ready
my
for and
top
get excited.
3 are going to be to open all those command crates and spend all the unassembled components.
I think
that's one.
Clearing
and then
inventory is my number
clearing
1.
inventory. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to do those 2 things.
Yeah.
Want to do those things. I should want to do those things.
All right, Seema. Well, let's get started doing that. And so I think with that, we'll take our EPC 313 droid and kick him out an airlock to broadcast this podcast to everybody out there while we go off and get ready for 6.0. Hope all of you are having fun getting ready for 6.0, and we will see you in the 6.0 timeframe. On the way, and as far as that goes, keep up with us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA. If you know any cool people that should be playing with us and want to come join us even this weekend as we're closing things out and maybe running a couple things to get some people their final Summer of 300 finished up. There might be 1 or 2 people that are going to close that out this weekend too. I forgot about to mention that. Yeah, it's your last chance to get a couple of those achievements closed out. Tell them to come find us if they want some help. We'll be doing this kind of thing all weekend. Alea Acta our guild is always ready to do that. They can find us at aie-guild.org. They can find us on YouTube at YouTube/New Overlords. They can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/New Overlords. And we will usually be podcasting on Thursday nights from now on, as we've been for the past few weeks anyway, or months at this point. But you can also find us in our guild Discord and on Starforge, and we'll get you a guild invite and we'll get you in. And with that, we will talk to all of you soon.
Later, everyone.